The Phillies went out and got Michael Lorenzen.
All-star. Michael Lorenzen.
For the number 8 prospect in the Phillies organization. Lubman then proceeded to name 2 players in the Giants organization who essentially were their number 8 prospects, about that number.
Yep.
And the names don't matter because he said nobody would have known who they were or missed them anyway. So Lubman was saying that's the move, the kind of move that he could have made that he didn't make to get a little starting pitching help in for the San Francisco Giants. Can I assume Lorenzen's given the Phillies some innings today? Is that what I can assume?
Just gave up a homer, but he's given up 2 runs.
What's the score?
4-2.
Oh.
They're winning. Phillies over Miami.
Okay. So there's a chance that in Lorenzen's first outing for the Phillies, he's going to help them win a game.
Yes, he's given them the lead. 7 innings of 2-run ball.
I mean, wow. How do you not sniff around at a guy like that?
It's one game, Steiny.
I know, but it's good. It's one more win they might not have had.
Yeah. And you do wonder the Giants, pinning and using the opener, if that's just going to tax the bullpen, if that's just going to catch up with them at some point. We saw Minaya get the save. I don't know if you heard him with Willard and Dibbs the other day, but he was talking about, he not knowing his role, but he just, he don't know if his starter days are done, Steiny, but he was just, I said, somebody has to be talking to him because he wasn't mad. It was to me, and I'm paraphrasing, I'll do whatever the team needs me to do, and I'm just staying ready. But there's somebody also, coaches obviously, teammates, helping them with that mindset, and he's been helping them.
Alex Pavlovich, NBC Sports Bay Area, was with Willard and Dibbs yesterday, and they were talking to him about the trade deadline, relatively quiet for the Giants. Let's take a listen to what Alex Pavlovich had to say.
One, I think there wasn't a lot out there. I mean, I know you guys bring up names, and I hear names like DeYoung. Like, they'd rather just have the people they have here. I think they'd rather play the kids. They would rather do what Marco Luciano had. So there was just a bunch of guys like that where it was kind of like, replacement level players. And I think at that point they felt like, let's just go with what we have. But beyond that, I mean, I don't know that this is, this isn't 2021 where you're going to take a huge swing because Chris Bryant is the final piece. I think there was just not that piece that they felt was going to kind of be the perfect fit. And I know a lot of people look at the rotation. They're really happy with the way the pitching staff is pitched. They're happy with those guys. I know people hate bullpen games. They're working. They're 14-5 in bullpen games, and they're pretty happy with the way it's gone. So I understand why people are upset, but I think this was kind of telegraphed the last couple of weeks. They've talked a lot about how successful they've been with the way they're kind of utilizing this pitching staff. You could hear it the last week. I think they're pretty happy with the way the weekend went, and that emboldens them a little bit to just stick with what they're doing.
That was Alex Pavlovich yesterday on with Willard and Dibbs. And, I mean, you want to talk about a talking point? That's a talking point. There wasn't a lot out there. And this is where who I am. It's like, well, we'll see. We'll end up seeing what was out there.
I feel like those are tryouts. Like all the dudes, like you're giving them a fresh, hey, you got a new start with your new team.
Exactly. That's what the trading deadline is. I mean, that's
but there's a flip side to that, to where if it blows up in your face like Wadi Coyote.
Well, when you get and listen, I don't even know who the guy is, essentially. But if Lorenzen stinks, you didn't gamble.
Yeah, and he gave him 7 innings and the lead.
You didn't give up anything. Yeah. So, I think we got to get out of this. It's not, you don't have to gut the farm system. I mean,
am I being mean if I tell you DeSclafani currently dealing with the flexor strain and his throwing elbow? He's on the 15-day Steiny. He might be shut down. Hopefully he's not. But am I being mean if I tell you that might help the Giants the way he's been throwing the ball? But all the more reason for a Shasky or another diehard Giant fan to be like, that was all the more reason to go get another arm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all I'm saying is, how important have the playoffs become to the Giants when the expectations were so low in the at the start of the season? And maybe and I think I agree with Pavlovich that clearly they looked at their team and said, we'd rather have the guy who's here than the guy we're getting. I totally understand that.
Or pay the price for the guy we're getting.
But what other than Verlander and Scherzer, who's the next biggest name out there? In other words, nobody's faulting the Giants for not gutting the farm.
Yeah, we saw the Dodgers try to get Rodriguez, Lorenzen's teammate in Detroit, and he had a no-trade clause. He said, no, I'm not even going to there. So, he probably wasn't coming here.
Right. So, I don't think there's any Giants fans out there that are criticizing Farhan Zaidi for not making a big move and
Butcher
trading.
Boy is. Our own Butcher Boy is. He's mad because, just let me compare, the words came out of Farhan's mouth that he was going to be aggressive at the deadline.
We don't know he wasn't. I mean, there's different. He probably meant aggressive making calls.
Well, if you tell your girlfriend or wife, hey, I'm going shopping for you, and you come back with nothing, you can't say, hey, I went shopping.
Well, you can, and you could say everything was overpriced. I'm just dead serious.
Get on the couch.
Everything was overpriced. The stuff that wasn't overpriced, I don't think would have fit you.
Oh, Steiny, boy, you don't want to. I wouldn't even say that. You better be careful.
Let's go to more Pavlovich. I'm sorry.
The way the A's view it and the way the Dodgers view it, and I know this is a criticism of the Dodgers fans as well at times, is that, the executives down there have long said October's kind of a crapshoot. And it's hard to build for October because it's basically, look what we saw last year. The Phillies just got hot for a few weeks, and you get pretty close to winning a World Series. We have seen that here. The Giants were not the best team when they won in 2014 or 2012. They just got hot. So I think that's just kind of the view of a lot of teams, that you don't build for October because there's no real way to build for October.
Interesting.
It is, and it's another beautiful facet to the game of baseball. But again, with that thinking, if you had more talent, if you got hot in October, Steiny, maybe that could help you get all the way through the finish line.
Maybe. But you got to make the playoffs first.
Like if I ask you right now, do the Giants got enough to get to the NL all the way to the World Series?
Yes.
What would you say?
Well, if they have enough to get to the playoffs, they have enough to get to the World Series. That's the way I look at baseball. Evan doesn't quite look at it like that, I don't believe. But I believe...
Even with the questions with their rotation, like if they came up against the Braves...
Of course, they're going to be underdogs, but of course it can happen. Absolutely. Webb gives you a good start.
Right. Cobb
gives him a good start, and then they use an opener in Game 3. Yeah. Of course they can. Of course.
But that's where it could get ugly, though. If you the opener against a team like the Atlanta Braves,
they're 14-5,
or even the Dodgers.
Openers, though, Pavlovich said
in the regular season.
When he said,
is that something that you want to go into? Obviously,
you might not want to, but
you got to do what you got to do.
If you have to, you have to.